Okay, so this might sound weird because I'm like recording this again, but I just wanted to say another thing for my rant opinion thing video. You could not use the Japanese version of the game to be like, oh, Mikan canonically cut out Junko's uterus, because I believe in the Japanese version it says it does that, and Kaito said a homophobic slur in that version. You could not hate on them for that, but then go and call Aoi Hina and use Ottawa jokes because I'm pretty sure Hina was added in the English version of the game, probably just so people could pronounce her name easier because it's kind of hard for some people that I know. Secondly, Ottawa is mentioned 0 times in the original game. So you could not make Ottawa jokes because Ottawa isn't Ottawa isn't ever in the original version. That was an English translation added by someone who was really weird. Like, I can get the translations where like Gundam, when he talks about needing like a virgin or a child's blood, because I'm pretty sure in Japanese virgin and child sound alike, so the translation team just decided to go with one over the other. But Kami and Ottawa, they sound nothing like. Their only similarity is that they have an A in them. That is it. Also, just randomly, second, when Angie mentions what Ottawa looks like, she literally describes Izuru Kamakura. That's just like a side note. And don't say, oh, but Celestia has long hair and red eyes. When has Celestia said into the camera, I am a actually hot? I mean, Izuru hasn't said I am a man either, but we presume Izuru's boy, okay, and we presume Celestia's female and be whatever. But Taka, I've heard people say it could be Taka. Taka doesn't have long hair. Izuru Kamakura is the only character in Danganronpa who presents masculine or is a boy or is masculine in general, has long hair and red eyes, long dark hair and red eyes. That's what Angie describes Ottawa as, or her god. I think it would be much better just to keep God as Kami, as I said, and allude to the Kami or whatever as Izuru. Izuru Kami Kura. Sorry, I had to make that. I just realized how similar they sound. They could have set that up in the English version, but no, they decided to use an actual god, like an actual, well, group of gods, deities. I don't know that much about them. Just I know like I probably shouldn't have done that. Like that really wasn't good. Oh, another thing. Celestia could have been a survivor if she hadn't killed out of her own greed. Also, Celestia was the only Chapter 3 victim to have, you know, stabby stabbed her 2 victims that she planned on doing. She planned on betraying Hifumi from the moment her plan started, whereas Mikan only planned on boinky boinking Ibuki, and Krekio only planned on boinky boinking whoever went in the cage. Angie and Hyoko were accidental victims. They were never meant to be victims. They were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Also, side note, what Krekio did was kind of stupid. He should have kept Angie alive because in V3, like, is there not a rule that's like, oh, if they can't physically like be in the class trial, they don't have to attend? Like if Angie was left unconscious, she could have still been alive and she could have survived. Like Angie was literally at the wrong place at the wrong time, and like Krekio was probably just worried because Angie was ready to like betray her friend Himiko's back, so she could probably be like, oh, I seen Krekio making preparations in the room, but he could just say, oh, I didn't know that, like, ooh. And Hiyoko shouldn't have died. It should have been Sonia. No offense if you like her, but why would Hiyoko go out of her room? Like, lots of people have pointed this out, but like, she was like the number one person who was like, not getting infected by the despair disease today, honey. And then Sonia's like, hey, there's a mirror, and Hiyoko's like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to like back on my word. I'm gonna do this. Like, she was stinky too. She was the one who decided to force everyone into the hotel for the despair disease. She didn't leave her room up till then, and her kimono was basically falling off. Second of all, Kyoko, she's not really that good of a person, because if I remember correctly, she literally forced Sakura to like feel Chihiro's bottom area, and I forget who else did this, but I don't know if they forced Akane to, but in the second game, so either Akane did it of her own free will, which is kind of weird, or I don't remember if it was like Chiaki, or I think it might have been one of the boys who was like, ooh, I think I see something in her kimono, and Akane's like, I'll do it. Like, that was just kind of weird. Like, Akane and Sakura, they were kind of just forced to do it by another member of their group just to be like, oh, yeah, confirmed. You know, like, This is 4 minutes long, 5 minutes long, basically. I'm just rambling to myself. This was just all stuff that I kind of forgot in the first audio recording that was like 28 minutes long. This video is going to be very long. This is like over half an hour. I'd be surprised if any of you get here. If you do, you should probably like and subscribe. I'm just being like everyone. I'm also smiling right now. What else can I talk about? This is kind of turning from unpopular opinions into facts, but it's mostly unpopular opinions. I know I mentioned this again, but I'm going to bring up the anime again. It was actually really good. Like, I liked it. Also, you can't say that, like, the characters go against, like, the canon of what they're supposed to be like, because, like, people who worked on Danganronpa are friends of Kodaka. I'm pretty sure they made the anime. They know what the characters are supposed to be like. Like, characters can have changes. Like, that's what they were setting up with Sayanji. She was they were gonna make her like a night, like try and make her nicer. Also, second of all, no, Sayanji was never supposed to be a survivor. That was mentioned on one random Korean website and never again. Never again. That, like, you can look for it, and it's probably mentioned either on YouTube videos, like a Reddit post, I don't know, Instagram, but the original source, from what I can tell, is some random Korean website where it was mentioned there one time and never again. Why would it be on this one random Korean website? Tell me, please. Please, tell me, what's your reasoning? Also, that Korean website, it mistook Mahiru and Kazuichi for a couple. So if we're going off that, Mahiru, Kazuichi, I guess they're together now. Even though I see Mahiru to be a lesbian and Kazuichi to be a gay man. But anyways, what else? What else can I talk about? Oh yeah, the like Mahiru and Hiyoko shower scene, that was super weird. I just want to bring that up. Like, also the way that shower would have worked, Hajime would have had, like, they would have seen Hajime. Like, that makes no sense. Like, oh, another thing, I forget. I think I brought up that, like, Sho isn't Toko, and if I didn't, they are not the same person. I think I already mentioned that, but, like, the alter is not the host. Like, you know. Also, it's kind of weird considering most alters, like, from what I understand, have, like, a purpose. Like, obviously, there's, like, but, like, if Toko was, I mean, all people with the ID were a victim, you know what the A is, I'll probably add it in and like star out some of the letters so you like know what it is. But like, why doesn't she have like a protector or whatever they're called? Sorry, I don't remember what it's actually called. But like, you could argue that Sho technically is, but Sho isn't, because like the people who protect them are like supposed to protect them from danger. Sho has literally outright said multiple times she doesn't care what happens to Toko. Also, unpopular opinion, Toko in the first game sucked. Like, no offense, Toko and Sho in the first game, horrible. Not even because the bad DID representation, but for the fact that Toko's entire character could be summed up as, I'm ugly and I think Hina's dumb, and Byakuya, Daddy Byakuya. Like, that was her entire character. I'm sorry for saying this, but it's true. And Genocider Sho's entire character in the first game was I'll put the word up for what I'm talking about, Daddy Byakuya, and Hina has slightly bigger boobs, rinse and repeat, and that was Sho's entire character. Like, no offense, but that was, like, also Toko, like, she wasn't even, like, saying, like, I'm ugly to herself. She was constantly making remarks about other students, specifically, like, Hina and Hiro and their intelligence, which is, like, really dumb. Also, like, why are all the sports people dumb? That serves as the, like, dumb jock stereotype, which really makes no... I mean, V3, also another popular opinion, Shuichi probably doesn't have depression, considering how in V3 most of the characters are written to be, like, very stereotypical. Like how Tenko's a stereotypical, like, bad, evil, feminist, lesbian, man-hating, you know, and Angie's supposed to be, like, the evil cult leader who's religious, and also the weird island girl. I say all these in like quotes, I know you can't see me, but if Shuichi was depressed, the movie would probably like romanticize that in a way, because like she wrote all that. This has major spoilers, like, but you know, like Peko is more likely depressed. Like, I'm pretty sure she matches like 5 out of the 7 signs in women. Originally I thought it was only 4, but then I realized if you like calculate all the characters, like BMI or whatever, they're actually, most of them are all severely underweight. Also, the female characters, there are some who are over like the average weight for Japanese women, which are Mikon, Sakura, Akane, Miu, and Kaede. They all weigh more than the average for a Japanese woman. All I remember is I think their weight goes Kaede, Akane, Mikon, the other person, Sakura. I forget who the other person was. Okay, I'm sorry. Or something like that. All I remember is that Mikon, she weighs more than what's her face? Than Akane. But like Akane and Sakura, you can explain that as muscle mass, I guess, because you know they're very muscly. Oh, also, I just need to bring this up. Sakura was dating Kenshiro. I've seen some people who say that she didn't like him or that they weren't dating, but like he's literally her boyfriend. Like, also it, like if you can headcanon her as lesbian, I don't really care, but like, and I know lesbians can have had like previous relationships and stuff, but like she did have a boyfriend. Like you can't deny that. Like he's still alive. Like, oh, also another thing, quit saying that after Ultra Despair Girls, we don't know anyone's status besides Toko and Toko, Sho, and Komaru. It's been confirmed through the anime. The anime does not take place at the same time as Ultra Despair Girls, I'm pretty sure. In the anime, we see that Monica, Nagito technically survived that. Oh, I'll get into another spiel later. Monica and the other Warriors of Hope are still alive. Haiji, I'm pretty sure, is unknown. I'm pretty sure they've confirmed Hiroko Higakure is still alive. And I'm pretty sure they've said that Taichi Fujisaki, his death or whatever, is like, you can decide if he lived or not, I'm pretty sure. And then all the like hit list victims or whatever, they're all confirmed alive as far as we know. The one and only character who has died in the event of Ultra Despair Girls is Yuta Asahina. That's the one confirmed character. Everyone else during that game is alive. After it, Haiji is the only one unknown, I'm pretty sure. Also, secondly, the Danganronpa, like, if you want to play it correctly, like, I'm going to mention the game, then the anime, but the games, they were released Trigger Happy Havoc, Super Danganronpa 2, Ultra Despair Girls V3, but canonically, it goes Trigger Happy Havoc, Ultra Despair Girls, Super Danganronpa 2, then V3 is in its own timeline, I'm pretty sure. The reason why Ultra Despair Girls comes before Super Danganronpa 2 is because we see Nagito in his despair form, and he gets reformed after Super Danganronpa 2, so the timeline's just kind of F because you're supposed to watch the Despair anime up till a certain point. Like the Despair anime, I think like the Kyoko and Byakuya light novel and the Killer Killer light novel all happened before Trigger Happy Havoc. But then halfway through the Despair anime or whatever, then they get turned into Despairs. The world ends. Then you would watch Trigger Happy Havoc. Then you'd play Ultra Despair Girls. And then the Ultimate Despairs would all be captured. I'm pretty sure this would happen off screen and they'd be sent to the Neo World program. Then you watch the Future anime where Makoto gets in trouble and the final K game starts. They survive that. Super Danganronpa 2 happens sometime during that, I'm pretty sure. Then it ends off with somewhere, I'm pretty sure, in either, I think it's before the anime, I think the light novel Hagakure would take place. Like, I'm not sure on the timeline. Like, they're kind of iffy on it. Like, but, like, we do know that, like, the anime and some of the, like, manga and novel, whatever, happened before the game. So, like, that, I think that's the correct timeline. I'll try and, like, I might post a timeline video later and, like, do all that. But, like, from my understanding, that's what the timeline is. And, like, before the game starts, like, I should honestly do that and just reveal every major thing that happened. Obviously, I don't know when it happened. Like, when Toko first became Sho, that could have happened, like, 4 years before. Well, it happened when she was in elementary school or middle school, I'm pretty sure. But, like, really the only detailed thing I remember about characters from before Trigger Happy Havoc was that Aoi was like gonna become like an Olympic swimmer. Also, side note, how do the Ultimates become Ultimates? Like Hyoko Saionji herself says that compared to the